Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Drew here. I'm a mentor in class 3, and I'm here to walk you through the new squirrel rig, which is awesome. He is super appealing. There's a lot of great squash and stretch built into him, great overlap, and a really simple, clear design where you can get a lot of character performance out of this little guy. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to walk you through the rig and kind of give you the basic rundown on all of his controls, how to use them, what they do, what they're good for, all of that good stuff. So we'll do that, and then we'll jump into actually doing a quick little test and giving you an even closer look at how the controls are used for an actual animation test. So yeah, let's jump into his rig here. So we'll start from the big controls and kind of work our way down to the more kind of finishing, polishing controls. So the biggest control, the main one for actually moving him around, is this ring underneath, which is called his root control. This drives everything. Every control kind of lives on top of this. You can see how when I move him, all of the curves, the little rings around him go with him. So that takes everything. This is really good for when he's jumping. This is how you're going to drive him through the air, push him up, translate him, rotate him, all of that good stuff. So that's the main root control. The next control under that, which I think is the most important, is probably his head. There's great rotation and even more importantly, squash and stretch built into his translation controls. So all you have to do is push him down. You feel that volume on the lower part of his body just squash and compress against the ground. His bottom stays flat against the ground, which is great. And look how far you can push him. There's some auto deformation on his teeth, kind of keeping them out of the way, which is really nice. And you can rotate on top of that. This guy is really, really cute. There's a lot of fun stuff you can get for free just by immediately kind of pushing him around with some basic controls. So yeah, that's the head. Translate, rotate. There's actually scale as well, where you can scale it up and make him have some different proportions. If you kind of want to create your own default, you can do that as well with a lot of the scale controls. So the main head control is great. It's going to drive, I think, most of the body outside from actually translating him around. So that's the head control. The next one underneath it is this spine control. And this is really good for getting the overall shape and line of action and kind of curve going through his body that you want. So if you want to make him kind of pompous and proud, you can stick this out, give him a little bit of curve, kind of stick his nose up in the air, and he can be this super cool Mr. Squirrel. You can do the opposite as well. Let me undo that. I can slide that back over and kind of get a curve this way. And you can make him a super kind of sad, lonely Mr. Squirrel. So yeah, that control's great just for getting a basic line of action and really shaping his body. Let me undo that. There we go. From there, the next set of controls on his body we'll stick with the ears first, are his ears. There's a simple curve around them. You can shift select them and kind of curve them both. These are great for extra kind of attitude, anything that might echo. So if his head comes up, you can kind of rotate the ears back and kind of perk them up. You can also rotate them down. They translate as well. They can kind of shear off the sides a little bit too much, so I would use that sparingly, but they do translate in a couple directions. The Translate Y is good for kind of getting a little bit of length to them, but he's actually got scale built in as well, which is a little bit better because in addition to going up, you can also scale them out. He actually kind of starts to look like a mouse here, which is kind of fun as well. But yeah, the scale controls are good for that, and the translation is good for maybe getting a little bit of Translate Y length on them. So that's the ears. Next, we have the mouth. There's two controls for his mouth. The first one is this upper ring up here, which will translate his head and his teeth away from his body. Really nice, simple kind of graphic shape on his mouth here when it opens up, which is great. If you're going to rotate down, his teeth do kind of get out of the way a little bit, but you got to be careful of his upper lip kind of going through the lower lip. So there's definitely a limit there. But that's that control. There's also a translate as well. You can make that shape even bigger if he gets really surprised or does a giant take. You can go really big and broad with it, which is great. The lower green ring for his mouth is, it's translate only, and this will pull the lower part of the mouth away from his body. There's a little bit of, you can actually rotate the bottom part. I think it's mainly the Z-axis to kind of shift and twist that shape around a little bit. So yeah, that's a really nice control as well to get some extra stretch to his mouth. The other one you've got, let me actually zero that out here. There we go. are these green triangles in each corner. There's one on each side, left and right. And these primarily translate and get a nice smile and kind of a frown to him, which is nice. When you translate it down, you can get a little bit of penetration of his kind of mid-body. You can always use this to translate that away and kind of clear it up a little bit if you need to. So there's some wiggle room with that. But yeah, nice little creases, corners to give him some more attitude and extra layer of emotion there, which is great. And actually, there's one I forgot here. When you have him pushed up from his root control, you can see his butt kind of stays flat. There's this extra control underneath, that little plus sign down there, which is his bottom, and you can translate that away and give him a little bit more of kind of a circular volume, so it doesn't feel like his weight is compressed flat when he's off the ground, which is great, and I believe rotates as well, so you can kind of wiggle that around if he's in the air if you need to, but it's a great control just to show that the weight has come off and that he's actually kind of changed volume. So it's another good one. From there, it's mainly tail. You've got, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 controls going down his tail. The master one here, it's pretty much an FK chain going down his tail, and each one is going to affect, a different section as it goes down that chain. So the one that's closest to his body is going to pull the whole tail with it. You can translate that as well. I would try and keep it as purely rotation as you can. Only use translate maybe for some fine-tuning kind of adjustments. As you go farther down the chain, it isolates the movement to the region of the tail that's below that. So you can see how that affects the lesser part of the tail. A great thing that you can do is shift select these. If you want to get some kind of bulk rotation across a few controls, you can shift select them and try and kind of open up that whole shape again across a few controls. This last ring is really cool too. They've got a reversal that's built in. So when you cross that threshold of the tail being pointed straight down, it actually scoops that point and gets a reversal going this way, which can be really nice, and it kind of saves having to animate an extra layer of, the shape of that tip as it swings through. So that's really powerful. Another great thing about him, he's so flexible, and there's so many different ways that you can move him and shape him. You could populate a whole family or a whole village of squirrels that all have their own kind of proportions. You could have, a really tall kind of thin squirrel. You could have a short kind of fat squirrel. All kinds of controls. You could vary up the shape on the tail. Maybe one guy's got a really kind of curly tail that stays completely kind of curled up and maybe even kind of reverses on itself. You could just graphically kind of, populate as many different character types as you want. So there's a really wide range of, flexibility just in terms of the basic controls. One other thing that's helpful is there's no GUI for him. He's so simple. The curves are so easy to select. One thing that I like to do when I'm animating though is just create a select all control. So if you pop open the curve editor down here, it's this little button down there. If you pop that open and just go edit, clear all, it'll get rid of all that jumbly information in there. And if you deselect his curves here, actually I want to show his curves and deselect his actual body. So you can just see all these rings, all these different controls that he's got. And drag a box around those, double click that line, and then just middle mouse it over to the shelf, click on Mel. It will pop a button up here which will just select all those. Sometimes if you're rotated away and you can't grab all the controls and you don't want to have to tumble around the camera to get them, it's nice just to have that button up there so you can select everything and set a key. I created one for all of his controls and one for just his tail as well. I found that helpful in blocking plus and getting all the overlap on his tail. So that's very helpful as well. So that's it for kind of his basic controls, kind of walking through all of them. You can see he's really simple, really appealing, and really easy to use.